DC here. Hi guys and gals. Well, hope you're well. It is Sunday morning. Well, it's still morning. What time is it? Yeah, it's 10:35, and I'm walking back home after church. It's a nice day. Yeah, today Mrs. DC was kind of tired, and she said I'll watch it online later on. So I decided that since it was a nice day, I'd just go and walk. I don't know if you can see the clouds over there. It's kind of funny because they're just small and individual clouds today. Sometimes they're really big, but it's kind of nice actually. Yeah, so it's one of those days, where it starts off kind of cool, and now it's already up to 14 Celsius, so that's not warm and it's not cold. And yet, as soon as the sun comes out, everybody's walking. I mean, actually, you look at the people, everybody's walking around as if it's summer. And yet, if it was like fall going like towards winter, and we were down from the summer temperatures down to 14, people would be talking about how it's getting cold and dressing already winter style. It's just, sometimes it's almost a perception on the skin, isn't it? And hopeful thinking. Yeah, I guess so. That's a little bit of that. Oh, today at church there was the man who was talking. He's a pastor in Spain. Actually, he's not Spanish at all. I think he's Swiss, but and of course when he speaks French you wouldn't know. I mean, you can tell he's a French-speaking person that probably is bilingual as far as Spanish is concerned. Anyway, there was no it just happens to me to talk about that because, as you know, I'm learning Spanish, and I was listening to him speak French. I didn't actually hear him speak Spanish, but I mean, if he's a pastor there, he must be able to speak it very well. But and I was listening to him, and it was interesting. But what was particularly, in a way, interesting for me is sometimes the cultural differences that come out. Like, the man has been living in Spain for many years now, and well, like if you're in Switzerland, the preaching part of the service is usually, well, if you're in a non-Catholic church, I'll put it that way, it's like somewhere between, let's put it this way, if you're in a Protestant church of the Anglican style or Presbyterian style, it's probably 20 minutes. If you're in a evangelical church, like where I go, it's closer to 30, 35 minutes, something like that. And this man was speaking about an hour. And we have two services, so it was he brought it right up to the beginning of the second service, so I was almost going to say it is no big deal, but you can almost see cultural differences in the way that people will express themselves. Even though he's speaking in the same language, he had the cultural particularities of where he lives. And I've been told that actually about myself when I go back, for example, to Canada or what. I'm told, well, you're you act in a way that's Swiss-like or European-like, whatever sometimes that's supposed to mean, I guess. But it's clearly that. I think if someone, I've heard many times about people, who've done studies elsewhere, and you just pick up those particularities of where you are. I realize that, in certain things, I still have particularities of when I was in England, believe it or not, and people will tell me that. And yet, because many parts of my online presence, online culture is is with North Americans. I'll be told over here that I have very much a North American mindset. My conservatism for some is different to what conservatism is here, and actually it's quite different if you listen to people that would consider themselves on the left here and on the left over in North America. It's not the same type of discourse either, but I won't get into any of that because that would be getting into politics, and I'll try and stay away from it. It's very, very difficult right now to stay away from it in some way or another. Yeah. Oh, yesterday was the final of the Eurovision song contest, and I didn't watch it. I watched the first part and then fell asleep. So I thought, like, okay, I'll see it in the news tomorrow. I know that Austria won. I did see the Austrian singer. He had an interesting voice. He did, and I guess you could almost say he's had a part of his song was kind of like a falsetto voice or something like that. Yeah. Anyway, it's supposedly, I didn't realize that because I don't usually watch it. It's just because it's in Switzerland this year that I've watched bits of it. But somebody said, or I think they said, it was one of the biggest televisual events, not only of the year but in the world. So I thought, okay, I didn't realize that, especially that most of the time it's really weird stuff, but maybe that tells us a little bit more about the world. I don't know. Anyway, yeah. Over here, this facility over there, we can hear some people talking. It's like some people aren't too nice. They call it a prison for young girls. Actually, what I've been told, it's like almost, we say, I don't know if the word is still used these days, kind of a halfway house or something like that for problematic teenage girls, I guess. Now, we're not talking about pregnancies and stuff like that. We're talking about, because that was the way it used to be in the old days. No, from what I've heard, it's like for people that have psychiatric but also violence issues. That's what I've been told. Because what I have noticed is they've built a second building, and you don't usually see the people out all that much. I guess it's just a question is that it's only the ones that can go out or those that won't escape or something like that. I don't actually really know. It's part of a social plan, I guess, for, I would imagine, reinsertion, but also to have help. There's a lot of quite a bit of that actually these days. There's also been some issues in some of the towns where we have the, I don't know if I can call them the refugee. Well, yeah, they're called refugee centers. That's for people that have come to Switzerland via immigration or of different types. Because, like we all know, I mean, there's, well, again, I'm going to be careful not to get into politics, but I mean, there are certain problems with illegal immigration as well. And there are groups that have been identified that are more violent, and we have, I'm going to say, certain when a person has had a history of violence, usually the person is placed. Well, place is not the right word because they're actually free to move around, but they can sleep in one of those special centers. But it's been creating a big problem in certain towns because there's only a few of those centers, and well, sadly, the violence has been getting out from there and moving into the town. So if you notice, every country in the world, more or less, immigration is one of the big topics, isn't it? Yeah. Another thing that's going on right now in in Switzerland around here, at least, with the summer, the summer months that are coming, is the travelers. Used to be called, in an unfriendly way, the gypsies. And actually, many have said, well, they're not actually gypsies, they call them something else. So I think in Ireland they call them the travelers. Over here they call them the people of travel, les gens du voyage. That's what they call them in the French part. And there's two main groups of that over here. There's one that's a Swiss, we could say, phone number. No, sorry about that. There's some that are actually Swiss. They're called the Yenish because of the language, I guess, the dialect they use. And the other ones are mostly from other places in Europe, but essentially from France, from what I've understood. But there's been a lot of problems this year because they have not been going to the places where, well, the different cantons. I'm up to 11 minutes. No, it's too long. Just saying quickly that our cantons had made areas where they could go and stay. But there's more and more of them, and the places aren't big enough. So they've been going to places where they were not allowed to go. So you can see all of the... Okay, so DC's back just for a little while because Mrs. DC just called and that cut the video, which was not a bad idea because I saw I was way up as far as the time was going. So I was mentioning about problems in Switzerland with the travelers, but the problem is that a lot of times they end up parking their caravans in places where they're not actually supposed to. So it creates problems with the town, with the people and everything. So yeah, like I mentioned before, immigration right now is a real problem in the country and in the world, and it's going to have to be solved one way or another. Yeah, but I'm stopping here because I'm way over. Okay, that'll be it. DC signing off. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.